Thank you very much. It'll be Diet Coke for me. There is more to come. I wouldn't leave at this point. In fact, lock the doors. Don't let them out. Dr. DiCarlo, 30 minutes to you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me here this evening to discuss the issue of God's existence or non-existence. I have to, as I always do in these debates, state from the outset that my purpose here is not to intentionally offend the religious sensitivities of anyone here this evening. I do know how personal and comforting religious beliefs are and can be to some of you, so I've made it a good part of my life's work to study why people do in fact develop and practice religious beliefs. So I want to clearly state from the outset that it is not my intention to cause mental anguish or distress to any theist, Christian or otherwise. However, having said that, I've been given the task of arguing against the existence of a Christian God, and this I intend to do quite convincingly. Now, by now it should be quite clear that the defining features of the proposed God I'm to disprove have or will have been described by Joe. The usual attack by theists follows kind of a type of pattern. I'm going to see if this works. I need to know if this has been connected or not. Thank you, God. We need a tech person to see if that works. Okay. I don't know which computer it's plugged into. We need
person, please.
An orange shirt. Get an orange shirt up here. Somebody in an orange shirt.
You shouldn't have chosen William Blake, should you?
Ah. Is that the computer there? Ah. This is nice. Do I get to keep this as a parting gift? There we go. Nice. There's nothing showing up on that screen? How are you guys doing on that screen? You guys are good? No offense to my brothers and sisters in the left, but I'm going to get things going here, and they'll get that going as well. So, the usual attack by theists follows this pattern, basically, of having a naturalized or scientific explanation in some regard. Had I known what the setup was going to be like, I would have used a bigger font. I'm sorry, but Joe, pass out the binoculars, would you? So, there we go. There are explanatory gaps, and we have a God that fills in the gaps. And things are freezing up. Okay. Well, there we go. So essentially, how I see things with religion and the concept of God and whatnot is that, people look out into the world and they see the way things function, and they can't explain things in particular ways. And so there are these gaps, or what are called lacunae, these kind of holes of explanation. And so sometimes gods are used to fill in that gap. For various reasons. And the God we're talking about tonight, specifically, is a Christian God. We're not talking about Norse or ancient Roman or ancient Greek or Muslim or Hindu. We are talking very specifically about the God that Joe believes in, which is the Christian God. Now, I am not partial in my approach to disproving God. I don't believe in any of the gods of organized religion, so this goes out to all Hindus and Muslims and practicing religious people, it has the same effect. So although tonight I'll be working basically with a Christian God, I think these arguments work equally as well for other types. So, I'm going to discuss a number of factors tonight on the limitation of human knowledge, scriptural contradictions, possibly get into discussing the evolution of religion, looking at scientific knowledge and what's called epistemic responsibility. If we have time, I'll look at inherent tensions in Christian dogma. Again, if there's time, we'll look at moral issues, and then the differences between basically secular and Christian values, of which there's considerable commonality between them. So, Joe, I didn't get to do this last time, but I am curious. This is a kind of a creation-evolution continuum, and what you have here is you have basically kind of like young Earth positions, those who believe that the universe and whatnot is like 6,000 years old, and then it shows a continuum of where people of faith will have evolutionary ideas enter into their religious views as well. So it goes from flat Earth people to geocentrists, or those who believe the Earth is the center and the sun goes around, to young Earth creationism, those people who believe the planets and the stars and everything are about 6,000 or so years old. And then there's old Earth creationism. They believe in biblical scriptures, but the universe is really much older, and so on and so forth. And then it goes all the way down to materialistic evolution. How would you put yourself in this chart?
Well, Christians would find themselves anywhere between young Earth creationism right through to theistic evolution.
Right, okay. And how do you place yourself?
What's the relevance? Is this a cross-examination section?
No, I just want to know where I'm at in terms of how I'm to direct my rebuttals and...
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm happy to say. I would be a creationist.
Right.
And some would be agnostic about the age of the Earth. My personal conviction is that biblical history is true history.
Okay, so you'd be a